Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thank you for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we discuss a lovely reference launched in 2001 and built through about 2008. The example in my hand was retailed in 2006, and we are speaking of the Patek Philippe Travel Time 5134G-011. It is a small Calatrava style travel time watch. I would say it's actually a versatile size. It's bigger than the prior 5034, but at 37 millimeters in diameter, I think this is comfortably unisex by 2025 standards. So 37 in diameter, 10.7 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 46 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The strap is still very stiff, so I have to pull it tight to cinch it securely to my wrist. Don't be put off by that. I think you can wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference quite easily. Taking a look down the barrel, even pulling the stiff, unbroken in strap quite tight, you can see I've got clearance on both sides. It is thin. It'll fit underneath any shirt sleeve. And from over the top, which exaggerates the width of the watch, you can still see that the lugs are inboard the edge. The strap is high quality, thick cut leather, large rectangular symmetrical scale alligator leather, always a very expensive cut of the animal. Dark brown. We've got a monotone stitch, a sheer cut edge lacquered for refinement, calfskin on the bottom, brand new Patek Philippe factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. Pull tab spring bars to pop the strap off the case without a tool. You can do it with your fingernail. The Calatrava Cross, the symbol of the manufacturer, on the buckle. And then you could see inside the buckle, single fold with a radial spring that adds quite a good deal of security for a friction fit style clasp. And then the clasp securely fit to the strap. We have pusher adjusters that nicely match the opposing profile of the crown guards. The watch has a pleasingly symmetrical aesthetic. It does feature a screwed in case back and blended lugs, Calatrava style. We have a little bit of a hard angular facet to the edge of the bezel, and then there is a domed profile that rises up to a slightly cambered sapphire. The watch features a dial that includes a brushed concentric track underneath the hours, outboard a chemin de fer, or a railroad track for reading the minutes. At center, you can see we have white gold hands for the Dauphine style hour and minutes, as well as white gold indices and white gold numerals, the idea being they will never tarnish or oxidize. The 24-hour hand and the seconds hand, they are actually blackened at the factory for a little bit of a different contrast. And then the center dial has a frosted non-directional opaline grain. This watch was, of course, the direct successor to the 1997 launched 5034, but that tiny watch with its beaded bezel and unusual lugs was not universally pleasing to the Patek customer. So in 2001, the less conservative and more modern reference 5134 was launched. There are several different dial styles on this watch, and they are not all the same from metal to metal or era to era, but the 5134 was made from 01 to about 08, and this was retailed in 2006. As a result of that, I believe this watch was one of the last rhodium-plated white gold Patek watches, as it is very bright here in my light box, and you could see what gray gold or non-rhodium plated modern white gold looks like on the buckle, and the case does look distinctly brighter and whiter than that. You can see that the lugs are long, flowing, and full. It's a graceful case. And then we have a reference that goes back far further than the 5034, goes all the way back to the late 1950s when Patek Philippe and Louis Coutier introduced a unique world time concept, more of a travel time concept. Unlike his previous 24-zone system, the Patek Philippe 2597 was designed to give you two different time zones. Initially, they had a mobile primary hour hand so it could jump between two time zones but not show them simultaneously. The second series, 2597, gained a system like this. This is the Patek Coutier system that allows you to display two separate hours independently. Now, the skeletonized hand represents the time where you are not. So in order to deliver AM-PM distinction, we have that 24-hour hand, which is connected to the skeletonized hand. So am I looking, for example, at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the evening in the place where I am not? Well, I look at that little hand and it says 6. On a 24-hour scale, that means 6 a.m., so that's how that works. The Coutier system is also pleasing because in its ultimate evolution with 2-hour hands, it allows you to cover up that second hour hand if you don't need it. And so you get this very clean dial that doesn't look like a dual time, and I deeply appreciate that. It's just a design element that adds to the order, and for the sake of feng shui, I dig it. All right, 30 meters water resistant, so don't take it swimming. You can see on the back we've got a Geneva hallmark caliber 215. So the 215 is a 4 hertz, 44-hour power reserve, free-sprung manual wind manufacture movement, 18 joules, a chronometer-style 5-position adjustment. You can see it uses Patek's Gyromax-style free-sprung balance, which makes for both very precise adjustment and prevents shocks or bumps on the wrist from changing the timing the way a mobile stud index could. Geneva hallmark, prior to about roughly July 2009, Patek's used the Geneva seal, and so for nostalgic purposes, I do like to see it. Well, you could see on the bridges that even with the Geneva seal, older Patek movements feature evidence of milling marks from machines. There was a final pass to make them shinier and rounded, but the thing is, back when this watch was made, they didn't imagine people would be looking at their movements under microscopes. So today, those milling marks are entirely gone. Back then, they were cleaned up, but they were not entirely invisible. On the other hand, an element I wish we still had on all Patek manual wind movements, you can actually see that there is micro beveling on the teeth of the ratchet wheel and the crown wheel, which I adore. We have engine turning on the base plate. We do have those hybrid mechanical and manual bevels. We also have bevels in the jewel sinks. We have polished screw heads with chamfered slots and circumference, satination on the wheels, as well as on the click. All in all, it's a good looking movement, and again, a manual wind 44-hour power reserve. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.